I just want to go quickly into the session for today, and I believe that this is going to be something that is going to transform your life and my life. How many times have we been in an environment where we thought things would not work out? How many times have we found ourselves in environments where we thought, really, this is, I think, where I'm not supposed to be? I'm actually forcing myself to be where I am, right? How many times have we been found doing something that we thought was not the right thing that we were supposed to be doing? This could be a job, this could be business, this could be a certain course that you're studying in school. I just feel sometimes we get to think a lot and we get to worry a lot because we have not understood where we are supposed to be and where we're supposed to go. I want you to understand that life is a journey. And as you live, you have to move according to the will and plan of God for your life. Many times we find ourselves trying to do things that God has not really called us to do. We find ourselves trying hard to achieve certain goals that we felt we gave ourselves, and we try by means to make sure we achieve the targets that we've given ourselves, the goals that we've given ourselves, but we don't get to understand the will of God for our lives. If you're that person, I believe this is the right place for you to be, and I believe this is something that is going to help you realize what God has called you to do. Over the past few years, I've begun journeying on a subject that has transformed and changed my life. When I began, I didn't begin the way I am right now. I didn't begin sounding the way I'm sounding right now. The first few videos that I released, if you watched them, you'd be so shocked. But again, you'll be so amazed at the level of improvement and growth that I've actually attained. This did not come by chance, but nor did it come by accident. 1,000 ways, 1,000 formulas have been implemented for me to be able to achieve these levels of success. I'm here because of the efforts that I've been putting in. I'm here because of the commitment. I'm here because I then discovered what God had called me to do, and I had to work hard to see to it that I fulfill the call of God on my life. Now, when I say the call of God on my life, people begin to think, well, it's talking about maybe preaching in church or things. No. I'm not actually talking about that. So God has called us to do so many things. When I say God has called you, I'm not actually saying He has only called those people and those of us who, have the privilege to preach in church and to do, the things we do to minister in church, to sing in church. That's not just a calling that I'm talking about. When I say God has called people, I'm actually talking about the things that God placed in you before you were born. Now, here's something. God says something to Jeremiah. He says to him, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before you were conceived in your mother's womb, I knew you. So God is giving you a very important subject here. Is actually telling you, before you were, I knew you. And before you were, I was already there. I had a plan for you, and I had orchestrated things in such a way that you would be born in this family, and you bring about this change that you're bringing in the family. So I want you to understand that you're actually not doing something that you feel is wrong for the sake of doing it, but there's something in you that is actually forcing you to do something that you feel is wrong, so you could achieve some of the things that God called you to achieve. And when you grow up, you then realize, well, this is, I think, something that God called me to do. Many of the times when you're doing something that you feel is not really something that I love to do, something that you enjoy doing, that is actually the very thing that God has called you to do. And now when you find yourself trying hard, you feel like this is not what I feel I'm supposed to be doing. This is not where I feel I'm supposed to be. This is not the best that I could be. This is not really the best version of myself. I feel I could do better than what I'm doing if I were to be in another, industry. If I were to do something else apart from what I'm doing, I feel I could earn more money. I feel I could have more success. I could make more. I could, make millions of money. I could have more followers. Guess what? The more you feel that, the more I want you to realize that the very thing that you feel is wrong, the very thing that you feel you are not supposed to be doing, the very thing that you feel I'm not supposed to be doing is actually the thing that God called you to do. How many musicians will tell you, when I began, I didn't sound the way I'm sounding. When I started doing the business that I'm doing, it didn't start, the way I've actually, been able to do things now. I began in a very awkward way. I mean, people will tell you that. Guess what? Every one of us have found ourselves in situations and moments where we feel this is not something that I feel I enjoy doing. I think I'm not good in this area. Even those of you who speak in public, those of you who've been graced with the grace of public speaking, you feel sometimes you're in the wrong field. And the more you feel like that, the more I want you to realize that you're actually in the right field, because God posted upon Himself that you will be where you are. There's no way that you're going to be where you are by mistake. Never misunderstand what I'm trying to say. I'm not by any means trying to say that everybody who's doing whatever they're doing is actually doing what God called them to do. But I'm speaking to you because I know you understand and you're feeling what I'm saying. All right? So he has done this because he understands that sometimes we get to be tossed to and from. Right? We move about trying to run away from what God has called us to do. Some of you have been called to run certain businesses, to start up certain organizations that have not really been started before, and God has actually graced you and given you the power, the wisdom, the knowledge, the know-how on how to go about certain issues. But sometimes you don't just believe in yourself, you don't trust yourself. Beloved, if you are the one I'm talking to, I want you to understand that God is always on time and God knows what is exactly good for you. And God knows what He has called you to do. God knows what He has placed on the within and on the inside of you. I want you to realize that there's a place called within. There's a place called within. Right. So within yourself, there's a lot that God has put in your heart. Within yourself, there's a lot of talent, gifts, and so many things that you could attain, so many things that you could actually achieve. But have you wondered and realized that so many times when we watch people, when we admire the people that we love so much, we tend to neglect what God has given us. We tend to neglect what God has put in us. We tend to neglect the very thing that God gave to us before we were born. Realize this, that your assignment was granted to you, given to you. You were not given to the assignment, right? I want to say something here so you understand. Your assignment was handed over to you by God before you were born. He knew that there would be a person called Matthias, there'll be a person called Joshua, there'll be a person called Steve. There's a person who's going to achieve a lot more in the 21st century. And he knew what he was doing. God never makes mistakes. He doesn't do that. He's all-knowing, He's sovereign, He's mighty. He does not err. So when God created you, He created you in such a way that you'd make so many people believe that God is there. You achieve so many things, and then when people ask you, you would say, this has only been possible because God helped me. I understand sometimes we are gifted and we are talented. We feel this level of success and the attainment that we've actually reached has come as a result of the hard work. But no, it's not entirely up to you. You've been putting in your level best. You've been doing all that you could. But I want you to realize that it has taken God. The energy that you have to work out every day, the energy that you have to study, does not just come from elsewhere. It comes from God, right? The desire that you have to study, to wake up early in the morning when everybody's sleeping, the desire that you have to wake up when somebody is not really feeling like studying. Some of you don't sleep at all. You sleep less hours. Where did you get that boldness? Where did you get that desire? Where did you get that inbuilt kind of feeling that tells you what you're doing is wrong? There is a force. There is an energy that works on the inside of you. I want you to know that regardless of where you faced, regardless of where you're going, regardless of what has happened in your life, regardless of the many things and the many challenges, regardless of the many people who say you are not good enough, I want you to realize that God knows that you're good enough, because what God placed on the inside of you is equivalent to who you are and what you could become. Stop trying to be the person that God has not called you to be. Stop trying to force things, because God never forces things on you. He has created you to be a person who decides and who has the power to choose. You have a free will, and therefore God wants you to decide and to purpose it upon your heart. Please, from this day, I want you to be hyper intentional about that which God has called you to do. I want you to be hyper intentional about the very thing that you feel is actually something that I have to achieve this year. Be hyper intentional. Tell me, what do you have to do for you to stay out of shape? Just eat and don't work out, right? But if you have to stay in shape, you have to work out at least 3 times in a week. What do you have to do for you to remain dumb, ignorant, and without information? Just sleep, wake up, eat, and don't do anything about it. The more you say, I want to improve myself, I want to improve my vocabulary, I want to improve the way I do things, I want to improve the way I think, I want to improve the way I articulate issues, I want to improve the way I see things, I want to improve the way I think, I want to change my mind, I want to change the course of my life. When you say that, you have to realize that you have to study. You have to wake up when others are sleeping. You have to find time to read and find time to practice. Fellowship with the things that you're reading. Go through the things that you're reading. Some of you are wondering, why is this guy coming out the way he's coming out? Some of you are thinking there's a point. And this guy's got some few points that I've got to learn from. If you are the person who's saying that, I agree with you, there's so much that I am bringing forth. There's so much that God is actually enriching and releasing through me. So you learn, and so you change, and so you improve. I know some of you are thinking, obviously, he has got a notepad somewhere, he's got a book where he's reading, and this is why he's coming out like this. No, hell no, I'm not doing that. What I'm trying to say is, what I'm bringing forth, what I'm presenting here is something that I've already grasped, something that I've chewed, something that I've inhaled, and this is now the information that I'm releasing to you. I don't have a book right now. There are no points. There's no way I'm reading these things. No, because I've spent time doing what I'm doing for some years now. So this is the more reason why I improve every day. And I'm here trying to say you can as well improve. But how do you improve? You do this every day. You have to make sure you find something to do. If you're a musician, play instruments every day. Play music. Listen to those who've been ahead of you, those who've made it in life, in the journey of life that you want to embark on. Go ahead, study the musicians. Go ahead, listen to their music. Go ahead and practice. What range do you have as you sing? Go ahead and rehearse. Go ahead and write songs. Do it more and more. It is by so doing that you find yourself improving and having, things that others have failed to have. It is of great importance that you understand that when you meet your friends, those of you who had friends maybe 10 years back, when they meet you now, we want them to say, who's this new guy? What has changed about you? You're not the old guy that we knew. This is something I want you to understand, that when you meet people, they don't have to say, oh, well, this is the guy that we knew. Is the same guy. Nothing has changed. It is of great importance and real that people will have to say, what has happened to you? You've changed for the better. You've improved. I don't want people to say, this is the guy that we knew 10 years ago. This is the guy that we knew some 15 years ago. This is the guy that we knew some 20 years ago. This is the guy that we knew some 30 years ago. This is the guy that we knew 40 years ago. I want them to say, well, there's something about you. You've changed. You've improved. What is this guy? What has happened to you? Have you changed for the better? Have you changed? Are you a person people can say, well, I want to be like this person. I've really been inspired by what this guy has become. I'm really intrigued by the grammar, the speech, the wisdom, the knowledge that comes from the recesses of this guy. The more people say that, the more you become inspired, the more you inspire others. I want to be a model of society. I want people to say, we want to be like this guy. I want to really be a model of society. I don't want to be a person that people say, well, there's nothing good to tell about his story. There's nothing about this guy. I don't want to go and leave the earth like I was not born. I don't want to pass the earth like I was not born. I want to make an impact. Let the earth feel you. Let the people who live on this planet earth feel your existence. You don't have to live like you were not born. You have to leave a mark. If you've got kids, tell them you have to leave a mark. The fact that you were born in my family is a reason enough for you to understand that you have to leave a mark. The fact that you were born in this family is reason enough for you to realize that people who are born from this family do not just exist. Do not just exist for the sake of existing. They live life. They leave a mark. I want to be influential. And how are you going to achieve all these things? It is by changing the way you think, changing the way you do things. It's something that I've been thinking about, right? So if you want to change the way you sound, right? When you talk, you have to change the way you think. There's some of you are very negative when you talk. Some of you are very negative. You bring a certain level of negative energy in your family, a certain level of negative energy in your workplace. The reason is very simple, because you've not changed the way you think. When people tell you that you have to change, you don't think really. You have to change your thing. No, they just hate me. It's not every time that people hate you. When people tell you that you need to change, they know what they're saying and they know what they're telling you. It's not every time that people hate you. Some of you have got the tendency of saying, no, people don't like me. No, people don't want to see me progress. People just hate me. It's not true. Many are the times that the people who tell us to improve, to change, are the people who love us. Stop trying to change the way people see you. Stop trying to change things outside you. Change things from within you. And things around you will then change because you've changed yourself. And how have you changed yourself? By changing the way you think. It begins from there, right? So this is very important. I want you to understand that change begins with you, right? Change begins with you. If you don't want to be the one who initiates the change that you desire to see, no one is going to see, and no one is going to, change your life. It is up to you to change your life. And never allow people to write your life. You have to hold the pain to your life. The things that you do are the pains of life. So you're writing your destiny. You're writing, some of you right now, you're writing your future. Some of the decisions you've made, some of the things you're doing right now, you are writing your future. And you will be amazed at what you're going to achieve in the future because of the things that you've been doing. How many times do you study? How many hours do you read? How many hours do you work out? How many hours do you spend learning from others? These are challenges that some of you have had. If we ask to say, do you find yourself reading something at least once in a day? A lot of you will say, no, we don't do that. I've not done that for the past 1 year. And if you ask them what could be the reason as to why you've not been doing that, they'll tell you, I've been busy. I've got tight schedules, I've got a family, and so I've got to find, money and, put food on the table. True. As long as you're a man, you have to understand that there is need for you to work hard. And working hard is not really going to be an excuse for not studying, for not reading. No, you have to make sure you divide your time. Plan your days, plan your life, plan your time, right? It's important that you plan what you do. It's also important that you have order in your life. There's so many people who do not have order in their lives. They just do things the way they want to do things. And I don't get it when people say, no, we are different. Sometimes, some of us just say things for the sake of saying we don't even understand what we're saying. No, there's a problem with you. If you say things like that without understanding what you're saying, without truly knowing why you said what you said and what made you say what you said and what could be better if you stopped being negative and saying the things that you've been saying. Have you been able to understand all the things that we've been talking about from the time that we began up to where we are? If you've not understood anything, trust me, that what you need is more time to yourself, more time to discover what is in you, more time to discover what is within you, more time to discover your strengths, your weaknesses. So you stop concentrating on your weaknesses and you concentrate on your strength. Why did I say, if you've been struggling to understand what I'm saying, maybe this could be your weakness. Listening for the purpose of understanding. It could be maybe that's your weakness. You need to work around your weakness, right? Could improve yourself. Above all, I want you to understand that you have to stick to your goals, plans, objectives, KPIs. What is it that you want to achieve? What kind of a person do you want to become after 3 years? What kind of a person do you want to become after 4 years? What kind of human being or parent do you want to become after 1 year, right? So this begins by knowing where you're going. Have a map of where you're going. Have a roadmap. Don't just exist for the sake of existing, right? Don't always have reasons as to why things didn't work in your life. Instead, find time to say, why did I fail and what is it that I could do to improve and to have and to attain the levels of success that others have attained. This is what you have to do, right? Stop being interesting and instead be interested. There's so many of you in your place of work, in your family, wherever you're found. You're so interesting that people say it's really nice to be around this guy. He's so interesting. Stop being interesting and be interested. When you are interested in matters, when you are interested in issues, you observe how things are done and you learn how to do things and you improve yourself. Get interested in learning. Get interested in improving yourself. Get interested in wisdom. Get interested in humility. There's so many people who are very humble, right? Are you interested in learning from them? Are you interested in saying, I want to be like this person? Some of you think, no, there's no way I can be like this person. I'm the best version of myself. If you're the best version of yourself, why are you still broke? If you're the best version of yourself, why are you still lagging behind? If you're the best version of yourself, why are you on the same level? Why is it that you have others who've gone ahead of you? People you grew up with, people you grew up with in the same neighborhood, people you went to school with. Some of them have actually gone ahead of you. Why is it true that they are making more money than you? You have to ask yourself this question. I don't want you to lie to yourself. I want you to be honest with yourself. Be true to yourself. Don't lie. One of the favors that you could do for yourself is being honest with yourself. Tell yourself realities of life. Be honest with yourself. Don't lie. For example, if you're coming from a poor family, tell yourself, this is my background. We are not rich, but I don't want my past to define my future. And you say, from this day forth, I will make money. I will be so hyper intentional about ending poverty in the family. And when you do that, see, your life is going to change the moment you say that to yourself. You change the way you eat, you change the way you do things, you change the house that you sleep. Because now you know, you're being real that this is where I come from. You're not like, I've seen a lot of ladies who hide. I mean, they don't want you to know where they come from. They don't want you to know they're coming from a very, poor background. When they show up, they want to, pretend, that they're really coming from a successful and rich background. No, you don't have to be ashamed of your past. Tell people the truth. Sometimes when you tell people the truth, they will be in a position to help you. But when you show them that you're doing fine, you're there, it's actually going to be very difficult for them to help you because now you're lying. They feel you're on the same level. So it's difficult for them to understand who's supposed to lift who here, who's supposed to help who. You understand that? So please be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Do yourself a favor by being real with yourself. Tell yourself, Matthias, you need to improve. Tell yourself, Matthias, you've got a very short memory. Tell yourself, I just need to improve. I need to work on these areas. I'm not trying to say you have to be negative with yourself. You have to improve. So being honest with yourself, speaking about your past is not really negative. It's actually you reminding yourself that you came from this background and you have to do something so you don't go back, so you improve, right? And when you've attained some levels of success, it's important for you to celebrate those, small victories. It's normal. It's very important that you do the celebration of those, victories. Celebrate those victories. Do those celebrations, right? Do the celebrations. I just hope this information is helping you, and I believe that wherever you are, I don't know where you are, whether you'll be watching this now, whether you'll be watching this years to come. I understand that most of my messages are not just messages for now, but messages even for the future. Some of your children will watch these messages and learn and improve. Some of you could be my relatives, some of you could be my kids. When you watch these videos, I want you to understand that there's an inspiration that comes from the Almighty, and that inspiration changes and improves the lives of men. When they incline their ears to hearing to that which God is saying in their lives. I don't know how best I can define God. I don't know how best I can explain God to you. You see, in every conversation that I have, I always find time to talk about God because this is the only thing I know. I don't know any other thing, right? That I feel will be something that will help you Having the full assurance that when this God begins to help you, he'll never leave you alone. He'll never, start a foundation and start building and leave the house on window level. He's not going to do that. He's the only sure God that I know that when he begins with you, he makes sure he accomplishes everything that he has begun with you. So this is why I talk about this God. Others have made money doing other things, dubious means, of course. Some of them have, come from very good backgrounds, and therefore it's easier for them to, make money. Some of us have come from the worst backgrounds that you can imagine. But all we're trying to say is we've worked hard, we've believed in God, and God has been there for us. God has given us wisdom. God has helped us to reason through, to understand why we're here and why is it that we are the ones who are here and why are we here? We're here because God said, go and change your family. I want you to realize as I conclude that every one of you who is born, you are an answer in your family. Somebody prayed. If somebody didn't pray, God looked at the family and the family was going through a rough moment, and God said, I'm sending this person to go and change and transform the family. You are the answer and the solution to your family. You are the answer and the solution to the challenges and problems that you and your family members have been facing. If you trust God and believe in what God has placed in you, you will change your life, change your family, make a name for a family. The families that do not have names, right? When people mention the name of your family, there's nothing good to write home about. There's nothing that you can really be inspired about. Let this end with you. You will say from this day henceforth, I will make a name for the family. And everybody who's going to come after me will find it very easy to become successful because the name has already been made. Beloved, I've been speaking to you about believing in what God has placed in you, trusting and having the full confidence and knowledge of what God has done by giving you the talents, the gift, the abilities that God has given you. It's not just being in church. We could do more by believing in every gift and every talent, every inspiration that God has given to human beings. Trust me, when we do this, life will be very different, and we will then be able to understand people, and we will know that every one of us is different. Yours and my responsibility, therefore, is to see to it that we support each other, we believe in each other, so we can achieve a common goal. It's your friend and brother, Great Matthias. I'll see you exactly in 3 days. Shalom. God bless you.